Hey everyone, today I wanted to make a video about the ghosts in my fantasy world, Eterra. So Eterra is the world that I've been talking about so far for the most part. The egg world was kind of a little venture into something else, but yeah, here we have my ghosties. You guys can't even see these ones properly. Anyways, so these are the ghosties. I call them ghosties because they're adorable, all of them. I love them so much. Like, I love the idea behind them. I love my ghosts, And yeah, especially the poltergeist, but we'll get to those. We'll get to him too. So, what are ghosts? So ghosts, 1 second. Sorry, I just had to cough. I'm still sick. Anyways, ghosts are basically manifestations of spirits. So I'm so sorry. I didn't manage to pause during that coughing fit. 1 second. Okay, so I got some water now. That should be better. And I'm not restarting this video because I've started it so many times. And I'm honestly exhausted. I think that's why I'm coughing so much. So, ghosts are these manifestations of spirits, of souls. Not spirits, of souls. They are spirits also. That's a subtype of ghost. So specters are the first type of ghost that I want to talk about. 1 second, my water. So specters, they're basically these little dust particles, like what people often confuse for ghosts in real life. And they can be as big as a nail, so like this big or even this big. They're oval or circle shaped, and they appear near grave sites. So if a body is buried either beneath or above ground, it can be in any form. It just needs to be covered up. So, for example, a marble tomb counts as like burying the body, like putting it in a above ground marble tomb, or covering the body in leaves. That also counts, as well as putting a casket underground, like 6 feet down. That counts as well. It doesn't matter what type of burial it is. You can just straight up bury the body. Sorry, this is a bit morbid. Yeah, basically you can just bury the body. And yeah. The color of the specter will reflect the mood that the person is in who died as they were dying. So some people might feel relief, or for example, these specters here all feel tranquility. They feel at ease. They don't have negative or positive emotions, really. They're just kind of there. They're vibing. That means that they can also fuse with one another because they have the same color, the same emotion. Because specters of the same emotion can fuse with one another to become bigger. Because they all start off as little dust particles, but they become bigger if they fuse. So that's why you most commonly actually see visible specters on like graves or mass graves, for example. They can have these real giant specters, like up to a thumbnail. At least that's the largest recorded so far. I'm not sure if they can get larger than that. I need to figure that out. So, anyways, we've got Poltergeist next, and we finally get to talk about Herbert. So, Herbert, he was also quite tranquil. However, poltergeists are kind of the more typical ghost you think of. They're sheets, like the sheet ghosts. This one's got a couple of scratches here and a bow tie. They come in different kind of shapes. Like the bottom can come in different shapes, and they can have different accessories. They're transparent colored beings. They basically have one color, and that's basically that represents the type of pranks that they like to pull on others. So Herbert here, he's a mix of blue and green. He's teal, So he's got a mix of blue and green type of pranks. I haven't decided yet what type of tricks he likes to play on people or what tricks each color represents, but just saying he is a mix of tricks. They're mischievous tricksters, and they like jokes and maybe scaring people. Some of them like scaring people. Specifically the red ones. I thought, yeah, red and those related to red, they like scaring people. And they form through necromancy, specifically incomplete necromancy, like a stopped ritual. Like if someone's like, okay, I'm gonna revive this monster here, I'm gonna tinker, and then, oh shit, I forgot an ingredient, they leave, well, now you've got a poltergeist. And it is commonly associated, poltergeists are commonly associated with just fun and childishness, because these poltergeists, they are not complete ghosts. Like, they're not complete spirits. They are not a person's soul. They are a fragment of a soul, specifically the childish, innocent one. That gets pulled, because that's the first part that gets pulled during a necromancy ritual, and this is always what poltergeists are, because you have to actually put it in a body for the rest of the soul to get pulled. So, poltergeists are basically like fragments of souls. They can't touch things, they can only possess things. They do not have memories of anything in their lives, and the little like accessories that they have, they're actually sewn out of their own bodily material. It doesn't hurt them. It's just something that they can do. Yeah, they're just kind of there. They're cute. Next up, we've got actual spirits. So if I keep saying spirits, I mean soul. For these, like the previous ones, whenever I said spirit, I meant soul. However, now I'm actually talking about spirits. They form from like big emotions by a large group of people, so like 30 plus people, and if these people die. So, for example, a war or a genocide, they form spirits. Specifically, one spirit for the entire group. I'm sorry, for the entire group of people. And they represent the emotion that the people involved have, like a mix of these people's emotions, basically. If these people experience deep sorrow or fear, then the ghost will be very scared. How long have I been recording? 1 second. 7 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so they might look like a mix of the people who died. And by people, I mean any different type of like species in my world. So typically they're called races, but that kind of implies that they can reproduce with each other, which my species can't. They're just humanoid species. Okay, they can't reproduce with one another. Maybe some of them can, but for now, none of them can. They're also grayscale, like this one right here. This drawing was maybe done in like 5 minutes, by the way, so, you know. Except for their hard disk, which is this thing right here. This represents how many people this ghost, right, the spirit right here, represents. So 50 is half a hard disk. This one is 150 people. They come in like, they get circles around the hard disk, the more people they represent. So like this, for example, represents 100 people, this regular heart here, and another 50 people is this hard disk. And she, for example, is just a spirit of an unfortunate accident, like an avalanche or something, or a natural disaster where the people, in the moment that they died, they didn't realize what was happening, you know? So she's quite a content and happy ghost, you know? Because the people didn't realize they were dying. Most people in that event just dead. They don't realize it, they are just dead, and that means she's content. Because these people were content before they died. Though this is incredibly rare. These spirits are basically meant to be like a reminder in this world of why war and killing people is bad. You know? Because they exist from 30 plus people dying, this can also be victims of the same person. So if one person kills 30 people, a spirit will form. Because they all basically have the same death at the hands of that person, even if it happened in completely different time periods. So yeah, and then they will be very vengeful and haunt the person who did this to them. If it was all caused by one person, if it was caused by nature, they will not be very vengeful. They will more so be scared or content or have any other emotion other than rage or wrath or vengeance or whatever you might call it. Yeah, and these are basically the ghosts that I have so far. I'm kind of on the edge of adding another ghost type. Specifically wraiths. So like the wraiths would be like a haunting reminder of mass death. Like if mass death was caused by people, a few people, then this wraith would basically like haunt them and psychologically torture them, like the people who caused this. And yeah, that's basically like just what I have in mind for wraiths. If you guys like this concept, I will add the little thing down here and draw a wraith. I do have an image in my head for what wraiths look like. However, I do have other fantasy worlds where wraiths could be appropriate too. Ones with darker themes. This one's more a lighter, fun type of fantasy world. It's just really whatever. Like, if you guys want to see wraiths, tell me if you want to see them in this world combined with these ghosts, or in their own separate world where there wouldn't just be wraiths but other kinds of malevolent or evil or whatever kind of spirits. By the way, yes, this is a different art style than what I normally draw in case you're wondering. This is not what I usually draw in. The cheeks at least, and the ears. They're halfway there, as well as the eyes, to my regular art style, but they're not quite there. So this is a mix of art styles. A new experimental one and my regular one is mixed in here. Yeah, yeah, these are just the little ghosties that I have. And honestly, the hard disk, that is so creative. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back for this one. Because, like, how did I come up with that? I don't know. And honestly, I'm just so happy that I came up with it because it's just so much fun. Well, fun. Lots of people need to die for these to exist, but fun, you know? By the way, ghosts who represent less than 50 people, spirits I mean, who represent less than 50 people, they do not have a hard disk. And actually, I'm changing this from 30 to 10. So yeah, it just needs 10 people to die for one of these to get formed. So yeah, serial killers, watch out. In my world, you're not gonna have as good of a time as in our world. And you're probably not gonna be as revered as in our world too. Gosh, I really want that to just not be an aspect in my fictional world. That serial killers, are revered or stuff like that. Where a war is seen as something good. And yeah, this is one way to make it more believable that this just isn't the case. Because, there's lots of people dying and then these things get formed and they're not usually the kindest. Like, this one is kind, but if I were to draw an unkind one, they would look a lot less human, I think. Or I could make them very human and that play into the kind of really terrifying side of humans. Oh, well, human in the case if the people who died were human. Otherwise it would be like, I don't know, werewolves or fairies. Silvama are basically my elves. They're just very different from elves. Yeah. And yeah, this is basically it. And oh my gosh, this video's been going on for too long. I wanted to make a short video. I'm so sorry. But you guys now know everything about the ghosts in my world. Please leave a comment down below if you guys enjoyed, if you didn't enjoy, if you want to see a different type of video from me, what type of video you want to see, what aspect of my world you want to see. Like, do you want to see more about the beings, the cultures, the religions, the, what's it called? Countries, the regions, the geography, the geology, flora, fauna, whatever. Any of these things, if you want to see them, just go ahead. Tell me in the comments, because I'm currently in the middle of building this world out really well. Like, this world is going somewhere, and I love it. Anyways, goodbye.